It's time for another Waves of Abundance sale at Azure Standard. Shop featured savings across organic groceries, pantry supplies, wellness products, household essentials, gardening supplies, and more. Whether you're stocking up on favorites or discovering something new, there's never been a better time to save. Explore this month's Wave of Abundance offers today at AzureStandard.com. That's AZURE Standard.com.
You got mail.
Hello, if you're hearing this ad, which you are, we are taking a little August break.
But don't worry, because we'll be releasing some of our favorite Patreon content in the feed every week, so you'll always have more Go Touch Grass.
And if you want fresh episodes, we will still be doing those over on Patreon, so go sign up at the $1, $5, or $10 level to keep getting new Go Touch Grass content every week.
And mark your calendars, because Go Touch Grass Live will be back at the Cheerful Earful Podcast Festival Tuesday, September 29th at 9:30 p.m. at Caveat on the Lower East Side in Manhattan.
Tickets are $25, and you can get them at the link in our show notes.
Now, on to our episode.
Hello, and welcome to
Go Touch
Grass. We're talking about a viral New York City event that has been taking place. Not the one you guys are thinking of. We're going to talk about that on the free feed.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, Elise was really getting her feelings out about
The Taylor Swift wedding.
Taylor Swift wedding, which, it's important. I'm here to hold space for you because there's a lot going on in your community right now.
There's a lot going on in my community, and I'll get into it.
Yeah.
When we record tomorrow, I will let my feelings be known about the display that took place over the weekend. But this is also a New York-centric story.
Okay.
Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you.
Oh, my God.
Okay, this is being called, the NYC roommate drama.
Oh, my
NYC
God.
sublet drama. Fire escape girl.
Yeah.
Have you clocked into this at all?
This was one of those things look, we have to be plugged into the internet. We have to see, but it came across my desk and I slid it right past.
Yeah.
That was one of the things where I'm like, I'm actually not going to engage even a half inch deeper than this, because the haircut of the person talking already gave me you're just wrong. I don't know.
So I felt similarly. I was like, I'm actually choosing not to do this one. And then I kept seeing more posts about it, and I kept getting served it. I think probably because I saved one video initially to be like,
I'm keeping eyes. That's what I have to save.
I might need to look back at this. So we are going to go through it today.
Wow.
And we're gonna reach our own conclusions.
Okay.
I'm gonna lay out the information as if you had been watching it in real time, how it would have gotten to you.
Okay. And don't ever say we don't suffer for our art.
Yeah.
Don't ever say we're not dying on the sword.
Yeah. Because I will say at the center of this is a 30-part TikTok story that I'll say I didn't watch every part, but I did to its end, but I did look at every part and make sure I was
getting summary.
And I watched a number of the parts.
If you watch more than 5, I applaud.
It was a lot. But this
Teresa
story,
impact.
I know. This story begins May 29th. When a 30-year-old woman named EK, is at Cozy Grocery.
Oh my God.
Posted a TikTok called Part 1 of My Roommate in NYC Trying to Kick Me Out. We're going to watch just the beginning, because I think it's actually I think it's good for EK to introduce herself and give you the backstory.
Tone.
Yeah, and
we
it's
need
important to hear the tone. And I will have you describe her vibe before we get into it, just visually vibe.
Okay.
Okay. So why don't you just like give us the visual scene setting for EK and like this video?
I'm gonna say like typical white girl at brooklyn.com or in any kind of city, like sleeve tattoos, kind of weird hair, like, like
Edgy
fringe,
haircut.
edgy haircut, fringe bang, but it's a little bit of a mullet, tank top, casual shorts, skinny, but like the face is a little beat. Like, I mean, like the face, like there's makeup on, like, and it's not like, oh, I'm mascara. It's like, okay, this girl has like a wing on.
Yeah.
She's
got a winged liner.
I think she's at least has wing and mascara and blush, if not also concealer.
Yeah, there's something on the skin, I think.
So, it's like she thought about it before
She thought about it
recorded.
for sure. And she's on her fire escape.
She's on her fire escape and she put the love to her lip gloss, which is like, that's also saying something.
Yeah, she
It's
has
so
a
different.
lav mic attached to a lip gloss
Yes.
in the video.
It's giving like what's that meme where that white girl has the like bag of frozen peas on her head?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Jessie's so crazy.
Yeah, I love this girl. She's so crazy.
She's so
or something
crazy.
like that. Yeah.
It's like this girl's so crazy.
Okay, so let's just hear from her.
Forgive me for being a little lower energy than I would like to be when telling this story, but I was out until almost midnight last night. I promise if you give me a chance to give you some context, this story is so worth it. 24 hours ago, I was told by my current roommate that I was getting kicked out at the end of June, even though I moved in a month ago. Quickest backstory on me. I'm a full-time artist in New York City, and I've always wanted to live here. I broke up with an abusive ex, quit my job, moved here with not a lot of money. Through all of last year, I've just been aching to find home. I felt like this place was it. My room faces a backyard, so I get to hear the birds. It has a rooftop, and I can see the entire skyline. It's perfect. I have one roommate, and when I met them, it seemed like everything was fine. There was a verbal agreement we were going to be re-signing in July. And that was when I...
Okay, so I'm going to end it there because I'm going to summarize basically the rest of what goes on here. But initial impression of EK as she introduces herself on May 29th in this video.
I mean, I feel like she's very young.
She's 30, basically.
Okay,
I think
that's
she's
a little too...
very recently 30 or
something
like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, I just feel like I hear an attitude of a New York story, or I hear a New York story a lot of like, I really wanted to live here. It's really been hard. I did all these things in my life to come, and like, I finally feel like I've settled and whatever. Like, but I hear this entitlement of like, because she's gone through that, like nothing else is supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of my thing where it's like, yeah, those are the things that every single New Yorker who's turning 30 goes through. And I feel like that's like, you live in shitty places and you pay shittier rent, and then you like want to like have some roots down, and like that happens at 30. Like, but the way that you're saying, the attitude also of like, I'm low energy because I went out last night. I hate that.
Well,
I hate that.
Yeah, there's something about the beginning that is a little, like my spidey senses tingle with just, I don't know, her sort of influencer accent.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, it's a version of the influencer accent that's more, I would say, like Gen Z leftist, cool world's voice.
Where it's like, this is going to be shitty because I'm cooler than you.
Yeah.
And like, but you should give me a chance, even though like I'm going to show up tired. I'm going to show, and it's also just a cop out. I hate that. Like, even in when I teach stand up and people are about to share something and they're like, I just did this, or this is stupid. I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Start over. Like, I don't fucking care. And it's disrespectful to the people that are listening, and it's disrespectful to, I don't know.
I think maybe the thing in the beginning that also just rubs me the wrong way is that it's like, this story is going to be so worth it once you hear. And I'm like, because basically we'll get into the story, but it's like, okay, but you want me to feel bad for you and your situation, but you're also presenting this as like juicy gossip in kind of this weird way where I'm like, okay, should I be worried about you and your housing situation, or is this ultimately going to be fine and it's just weird roommate drama? So basically, This 30-part series, I'll say that EK now has around 70,000 followers, but I don't know how much of it is from this, because a lot of these videos have like over 1 million views at this point now that like people are going back. I think this first one only has like 500,000, but even still, you're like making money off of that, you know, if she's in the creator program, etc. But anyway, basically what part 1 describes is that she has this roommate. She moved in 2 months ago. It is a sublease. For anyone who's listening that doesn't know, a sublease is basically when you like take over part of a lease from someone else who had previously lived there. So they can be for kind of like random amounts of time sometimes. Like usually it's like someone moved out before the lease was up, so you're taking it over.
And then like the lease, when the lease is up, like the lease is up, or you can figure something else out, but like it's not always promised.
Yes, but what EK is saying is basically like she took over this sublease for an apartment where the lease was going to be up on July 1st, and her and this girl who became her new roommate, she said they had a verbal agreement that once that happened, EK would join the lease and they would like re-sign and do the lease together. So that's like, you know, basically like setting the scene for all of that. She says all of that was good. She moved in. She loves the apartment, blah, blah, blah. But she says that when she moved in, she's like, the roommate's tone changed. And basically she says that the roommate was like always policing her and being like, you can't use the top cabinets because I don't like having stuff up there. And like, you know, kind of a nitpicky roommate situation where she had like a very specific way she wanted things to be in the house. There was drama over like the dish rack that I didn't really understand. Like EK wanted to get a new dish rack and the roommate was like, no. And her thing is basically that she tries to say like the roommate did not like to compromise and everything was just as she wanted it in the house. So then she says a week prior to filming the part 1 video, she gets a text from the roommate that's like, hey, remember that like the top shelf in the fridge is mine and like you can't be putting stuff on the top shelf in the fridge. And I guess they like have some back and forth about this scenario with the top shelf in the fridge. She says that after this back and forth, EK then sends the roommate this very long text. And a thing with EK is she's always like, I grew up in an abusive household. I escaped an abusive boyfriend. Like, I've never learned to take up space, so I'm learning to take up space now, and I need to speak up for myself, so I sent this text. I'm going to read the long text. These are all also included in screenshots in the part 1 video. She's including these texts. I need to be honest with you that I'm becoming more frustrated with our communication. I've been fully cooperative with every request you've made since I moved in, and I haven't felt like you've been open to compromise or considered trying something new, even if we decide to go back to how you usually like it. I deserve to take up space here too, but I feel like my preferences aren't even heard out. I don't like your dish rack and would rather use mine, but I've been fully willing to compromise out of respect for you. The LED lights in the living room are low voltage, so they don't eat into our power bill at all. It's like $5 to $10 a year. Even if it did take up more energy, I'm the name on the bill, so you could easily charge it. Could easily charge you less if you're worried about that, because I personally it's covered by like text that is on the video. But as I personally like something, I know you've been used to living with the same person for a few years, and I fully respect that. I would equally like to be considered because this is my home too. I want this to be a good, peaceful living situation for both of us and would love for us to be friends and hang out. But I also understand if you'd rather we just coexist and can work on that as well. Reaction to that text.
I mean, as someone like the situation I was in right before I moved alone was very similar to that. Like, part of me wants to be like, I totally roasted this white girl at the beginning, but I have to be honest and be like, I totally know what that's like. Like, also too, like my last roommate is like had a very narrow idea of what she wanted the apartment to be like, and then she didn't really communicate, hey, this is what I want this to be, and like talk it out. Like, she would get mad if I left my purse on the coffee table in the living room. And she's like, this is a common area, so it needs to be clean. And then I'm just like, okay, like, this is my fucking house.
Yeah.
So if I want to keep my fucking purse on my, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or like, there would be some logical things where she would get mad at me that my shampoo was on her side of the shower, even though stuff like that, when it gets like that, like, it is very annoying. It doesn't feel like home, whatever. I actually don't think that I was prepared for like a way more annoying whatever text. I think like EK being like, I won't charge you less. I want this to be great. Like, I'd love to hang out. Like, I'm seeing some good effort, but also on the flip side, like, I wouldn't expect this person to want to sign a lease with me. If she's already getting annoyed about all this shit, what ended up happening in that situation was that I broke with the lease early because I'm like, I can't live like this with someone. She would get on me for having the thing, but then she would never wash the dishes right. But then if I left a dish for a day, she'd get on my ass. But then I have to rewash all the dishes she would wash. She's like, I wash the dishes instantly. And I'm like, yeah, because you don't wash them well. And then I'm picking a glass and it still has lipstick on. So stuff like that, but like...
Well, yeah, and like roommate situations in general are delicate, and it's hard, and I've had great roommate situations, and I've had bad ones, and like the place that I lived in before I like moved in with Danny and all of that, and like ended up, was living with a partner for until I
remember it flooded.
Yeah, well, there was all sorts of issues, but that place also like it was me and my friend Ian in there pretty permanently, but the rest of the roommates were always in flux. Mm-hmm. And so like weird stuff happens. We have had to tell someone we weren't going to re-sign with them basically because their vibes were bad. And then on her way out the door, she pissed in our dining room chair.
Nice.
True story.
Nice.
So felt pretty good about kind of the call there in terms of her vibes. But like, so shit is weird. She pissed in our dining room chair.
Because you guys didn't want her. But like, okay, like, but people don't know that they have the bad vibe.
People don't know they have the bad vibe. Maybe we'll determine by the end of this, does someone have the bad vibe? What's going on? But basically, I also agree with you that like, I think the EK text is like, it's that like kind of formal tone that sometimes you have to take with people that's a little weird, but like it's a good text.
Yeah.
Like nothing that EK is saying in there that I'm like, that's not reasonable.
Yeah.
So this is the roommate's response. Thanks for letting me know how you feel. TBH, I think we're just not a good fit. I think if we're being transparent, I want to make you aware I'm still looking for a new roommate. I have 3 people who I'm interested in signing this lease with me. As for the LED lights, you never told me about them or told me you wanted to keep them on even if you're not in the living room. I personally think that's a waste of our light bill. Regardless if it's under your name, we still split. And I don't want to spend an extra 5/10 on the bill. I don't want to spend an extra $5 to $10 on the bill. Okay, that's the way she wrote it was a little weird. I think you've been taking up space. You are setting boundaries and I'm respecting them. Example, the fridge situation. You wanted to not mix our things. Let's make this last month as peaceful as possible. So basically the roommate's like,
yeah, I'm looking for other people.
Yeah, I don't think this is a good fit. I'm looking for other people. And
she's been living there longer.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I will say that pings for me a little bit, even though like I do think EK's text was reasonable, whatever, is it's like, this girl has been living there for several years with this other roommate and you're kind of coming into the situation. So like 2 months in to have that many points of friction already, I feel like is a little bit much. Yeah. Like, obviously, like once you're living somewhere, you're allowed to assert different things. Yeah. But it's like, the fact that there's already this many disagreements to reference, like the lights, the drying rack, this thing with the fridge, like they've been there for 2 months. So that's a lot of conflict for the first 2 months.
Well, it's also just like, it's different. they're just entering with different attitudes, right?
Mm-hmm.
The girl that was already originally there was like, great, I'm gonna have somebody. I'm not gonna disrupt my life at all. I'm gonna have shit exactly how it is,
Yeah.
for these next 2 months and whatever. And then this girl already came in with all these rules instead of like sitting and learning what the system of the house is.
Yeah.
And and like falling in line and stuff, and like slowly, or if you re-sign the lease or this and that. But I stayed at my friend's house when we were in LA. I stayed at my friend's house for a month.
Yeah.
And with his roommates. And I mean, for the most part, like, and it was a big LA house, but like for the most part, like, I had to learn how they did things and nothing happened.
You're not going to come in and be like, hey, I need this shelf to be this way. Can I put my lights down here?
Yeah, no, you're just like, okay, for 2 months, whatever. And then if you like it, then you can talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty clear. She doesn't want to. And like, I kind of feel like it's that girl's right to be like, I don't think this is a good fit. I'm looking for other people. Let's have this like last month. Like, there's just no ambiguity in that text.
Yeah. And like... Yeah, I think that you were also right to clock that. I kind of get the sense that the woman who had been living in the house, she was thinking of this as like, someone's going to move into my apartment for this period of time. I don't know we don't ever see the text of, it was a verbal agreement, so who knows what was said between them, if there was a misunderstanding or if it was more clearly communicated, I don't know. But either way, I think she was like, at least for the next 2 months, this woman is renting a room in my house.
Yeah.
And I think EK was like, I've found a home, I'm moving in, and this is going to be my home, and I'm going to be permanent. And so they were acting... I think EK was acting like it was her home when she kind of should have still been in like audition mode.
Exactly. And, I've been on the other side where it's like somebody thought they were renting a room to me, and I thought like I'm moving into this apartment. And then when it was a rent-controlled apartment, when I found out that like I was paying the whole rent and then some, nothing, it was still a really good deal for whatever, for Williamsburg, but I was paying the whole rent and then some, and then it's like, God forbid if I left something in the living room, you know what I mean? Like, but like, it's good to realize and clock like, oh, this is how this person's moving. And audition mode is right.
The thing is like, as of right now, I'm like, these are just the kind of growing pains that come with trying to move in with roommates that you don't totally know. And like, you do kind of, it sucks, but you cycle through a bunch of different people before you find someone where it's like, oh, I can live with this person. That like, I have friends who, have had roommates that have been like, they've lived together for 10 fucking years because it's like, we know we live well together. That's whatever.
I will do anything to not have to go back to have a roommate, like literally, because
it's hard.
Life is so hard. You have your job, you have your family, you have your relationships. There's just the general stress of living in the United States at this moment. And you just don't want to come. That was what I was dealing with before I moved alone, was like, this person would slam cabinets and like,
you can't
blah,
have
blah,
drama
blah. And
in
it's
your
just
home.
like, I don't want to have drama in my home. I actually just want to be chill.
Yeah.
And like, not fucking have to also step. And, the abusive the abusive family thing is just like, everybody has some kind of story, and you don't know what people like are running away from or this and that. And like that, it's that kind of thinking of like, you don't know if you're triggering this girl's abusive.
Yeah, you don't know anything about this roommate. You just met her too, But like, there is something to the fact that like EK has just moved to New York, and I don't think understands like
the vibe.
Yeah, the total dynamic of whatever. I mean, 5 sublets sucks, but also like, I am wondering if she's coming in hot to a lot of these sublets, and you don't realize that part of the sublet, and I have had to do this when I lived in an apartment where people were turning over, is like, actually like the first kind of couple of months, whatever that first period is, usually it's like 3 months. You are kind of being like, do we want to re-sign with this person?
Yeah.
Are we going to give them 30 days? Are we going to da-da-da? Because like, if they're off, which I've pissed in the chair girl, sometimes they're off.
Yeah.
you got to let him know.
Yeah.
So anyway, we then find out. So, okay, the roommate said this thing about like, we're not a good fit. EK responds, I didn't realize you didn't think we were a good fit. Can you tell me why? I would really like to stay and have been so much happier living here. If I've done something that's offended you, I'm more than willing to make it right, so it's good for both of us. To which the roommate responds, you've been happier living here? The text you just sent me says otherwise. Please clarify. And I do want you to just like see this screenshot as it was included in her.
Yeah.
Just keep a pin on that screenshot. So with this, where are we at?
I think EK needs to dip.
Mhm.
And I know EK is not, because she made a whole fucking video. So it's like, the fact that you even made a video about this is like, you're not picking up on, it's so funny. You're not picking up on people's vibe. So yesterday I had like a little gathering at my house with my 17-year-old niece, my brother, and my close friends, whatever. And my friend asked if her husband's friend could bring a date. This guy, I barely know the girl. And the girl's really cool.
Yeah.
This guy comes in, immediately goes to karaoke, sings Rock and Roll McDonald's. That's how he starts the thing. Goes to my brother, he's like, my dad's black. And we're like, what? And then like, this guy proceeds to be so obnoxious. He starts doing stand-up on the open mic.
No.
He does like,
no.
You know what? All the songs he picked in karaoke, he picked like 6 songs in a row. And then it was all like Bo Burnham songs and like joke songs and stuff. I know. Elise. And he's doing all these things. And I'm just like, am I fucking not even knowing who he's among? No curiosity about anybody here. Nothing. He's just like going in and he's just coming on too strong. And and he's like saying all these weird things and all his stories are too long and he's laughing too hard. He's just being annoying.
Yeah, just totally not reading
Anything.
vibe. Not a single vibe being read.
And then even the girl he was with, she's like, you picked another song and like he did like 8 songs in a row, and then she's like, you're not allowed to sing any more songs, but it's just like, I bet you that guy went home and thought like, I killed it, like I was fucking, and then I'm getting that like, and then my friend, after he leaves, my friend's like, dude, that guy, I hate when people show up in the group chat too strong.
Yes.
And she is like, the vibe that I'm getting from EK reminds me of the vibe from this thing. And it's just, you can't show up in the group chat too strong.
Yeah.
And also like, girl, she doesn't want to live with you and you need to accept it.
Yeah. So, okay. That is where we're at. That is basically part 1. We now have parts 2 through 29.
Oh my
which she continues to post over the next month. A lot of them are like rehashing the previous situation in a way of like, and I think this is one of the things that maybe just initially rubs me the wrong way about her, is the impetus not just to post it, but to post it while it's like actively happening. It's not like a story time about how I almost lost my housing, blah, 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 when it's done. It's posting about it in real time. It's having the microphone and doing like influencer stuff while you're talking about it and like using it to like that on the one hand, I'm supposed to be concerned about you because you escaped an abusive relationship and all this stuff and your housing's insecure and you don't know what you're going to do and all this stuff. But also you're just like constantly making content about it. There's something weird about that to me.
So it's kind of like a vertical drama diary video, because I'm saying vertical drama in that it has a hook at the end of each thing and it's constantly going, but it's like a diary and it is that thing where it's like, yeah, like that's what society has taught people to do, is just to make everything content, have no shame, have no self-reflection.
She's living in the apartment with this girl as she's posting these 29 parts. So I'm like, that to me is a big red flag with her behavior. So then in one of the parts, she talks about, I think this is literally in part 2. She talks about how the roommate wanted to live with someone who is either ethnic or POC. I guess the roommate
Oh,
is...
God. Now now we know this is Bushwick.
So the roommate is undisclosed ethnicity at this point.
Oh, Jesus
But
Christ.
look at this. So remember in part 1, I showed you that screenshot of the text that said, please clarify. In part 2, we see that text was actually longer. And that's where she says, and to be honest, I just would rather live with someone who's ethnic / POC. I feel that there's more of an understanding with, quote, how I live. So that is very interesting to me that part 1 is purposefully cut off before that second part of the text. Because it's not even a second text. It's all one text. So to me, when I saw that, I was like, huh. Sospechoso.
Yeah, I'm like, this is some Fox News ass gossip.
Yeah. So,
this is Perez Hilton Daily Mail unethical gossip.
So I was like, okay, well, now we can't really totally trust texts as she's showing them to us, in my opinion.
No.
Because you have now revealed to me that in your part 1, you did not show the entire
You're not
text.
showing the whole thing.
And there's valuable information that was left out. And then she reveals it in part 2 as if, like, she doesn't really acknowledge that it wasn't included in part 1. I thought that was really odd.
Well, this is why Risa Tisa is the best fucking storyteller of our generation, or like whatever. Is because she would you want to put the whole text, because then it gives the most color to the situation, pun intended. And then also, like, you can look like, oh, here's a moment where I did wrong, or here's more, you know what I mean? Like, so it's fucked up.
You can't be cutting pieces of the conversation because of this.
No.
So... Oh, there's also like this extended metaphor she has about like she saw a hawk and like she needs to be like the hawk, and there's a bunch of stuff with this hawk.
Picking up chihuahuas? Bitch, shut the fuck up.
Well, there's something with the hawk and all of this stuff.
Okay.
End of part 2, she reveals that the roommate said, you can stay and I'll move out instead.
Great. That's what she wanted.
Everyone walks through seasons of uncertainty, but you don't have to walk through them alone. At intouch.org, you'll find messages of hope, biblical truth, and encouragement from Dr. Charles Stanley, available anytime you need it. Dive into devotionals, watch sermons, or explore resources that help you draw closer to God day by day. When you're ready to refocus your heart and renew your faith, visit intouch.org. It may be exactly what your soul needs today.
So the next several parts are like basically them going back and forth about who's moving out. I'm going to show you the texts that are in these videos. So basically this is her saying, this is the roommate saying, I think you should stay, truly, after all you've been through. Start looking for a new roommate, but let me know if you need help. And also, I'm sorry, truly, for making you feel any way. That was not my intention. And then this EK writes back, I need absolute confirmation that this is your plan, confirming I'm going to be staying and re-signing the lease, and you'll be leaving at the end of June, correct? I'll email blacked out blank once you confirm and let you know when I have people to come tour. Please send several photos of your room / bathroom.
That's so fucking rude.
I need Wi-Fi, so we'll go next week to grab the router and we'll send you the info so you can use it next month. And then the roommate wrote, that's correct, I'm confirming. So that's the texts that are in there. It does appear that she said, like, I'm going to move out. Then, according to EK, 2 weeks later, she's like, actually, I'm not going to. You're going to have to move out. And there's like back and forth between them about who is going to move out. Kind of unclear to me exactly like what is going on there. Oh, and like a big theme of all this, all the parts is that she's also posting about this to Instagram stories, and her friends are like yas queening her and being like, you just ate that. There's a weird.
Two dumb bitches telling each other exactly.
Yeah. So in one of the parts, she talks about trying to get in touch with the landlord to solve this. So then like things move along and now she's talking to the landlord.
Oh.
She also starts in the middle of these videos and in between them, intermittently trying to sell her art. She makes little like clay figurines of stuff.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, they're cute. But
when are they getting shipped?
Yeah.
When are they getting
shipped?
shipped?
Shipping times.
What's the Shopify? And listen, we haven't had our merch story up yet, so we can't say anything, you know?
Yeah, but also no one's buying stuff that's not getting shipped.
No one's buying stuff that's getting not shipped.
I would actually, that's actually a great question, and I would love to know. So, okay, basically it's then revealed that at some point the landlord basically communicates to her that in order for her to stay, she needs to find a roommate and a guarantor.
Yeah.
Which is pretty standard in terms of like if you are going to take over a lease, like you're going to have to show a bunch of stuff, and it sucks, and a lot of it isn't fair, and it does suck, especially as like an artist. As we know, if you don't have consistent pay stubs and you have to show all this shit, it's a pain in the fucking ass. It does suck.
Yeah.
It actually sucks. You got to pay first, last security a lot of times.
That's why people get sublets, though.
Yeah.
That is the benefit of sublets, is that even though sublets are not permanent, you're not doing this shit.
You're not, and if you don't have that stuff to do, like, you know, whatever.
But then that means you're at the whims of other people.
Yes.
So it's like, she doesn't want to be at the whims of anybody, but then she also doesn't want to do any of this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if she doesn't, but I'm just assuming that she's like complaining about how annoying the process is, but it's just like, that is how it goes. It fucking sucks.
And I do think there is an unspoken hierarchy in a New York roommate situation. Generally, I'm sure there are exceptions where like the person who's on the lease is like the boss of the apartment.
Course.
A little bit. Obviously, you don't want to be, that doesn't mean you get to be a dick, like whatever, all this stuff. Like you shouldn't, whatever.
I know people who charge like, I mean, again, I was in a situation where the person on the lease charged me the whole apartment and then some. I know a bunch of people who do that. Like just because they're on the lease, they like rent it out to, you know, the rent will be $2,500. They charge each room $1,000.
Well, and then because they're taking all the risk, you know, like if anything happens in there, it goes to them, etc.
Yeah.
But so basically, what she reveals is she finds a roommate quickly. She finds someone. She says, "I interview her. We're good." Then they have to submit the stuff that you always have to submit. So it's like your credit score, your paycheck stubs, all of the stuff. The landlord then denies them. Is like, your income isn't high enough. She's like, what? We were supposed to. Then the landlord's like, no, the rent goes up with the new lease, which is another thing that does typically happen unless you're like rent stabilized or whatever. So I guess she wasn't factoring in that actually the rent was going to go up. And she's like, and the landlord's like, we told it to the previous lease owner. And she's like, well, why didn't you tell me? And it's like, because you're not on the fucking lease.
The fuck are you, bitch?
And also you got to read these documents. So anyway, it's all this back and forth about like the landlord and getting a roommate. During all of this, she does also create a GoFundMe.
Of course.
To get the first, last, and security deposit that you got to put down. Also, the roommate that she got bails at some point during all of this because she's like, hey, this seems insane.
Yeah.
So this brings us to June 21st. So we started May 29th. We come to June 21st. And this is the most viral video in the series. This is, I think, the thing, even though she's been posting previously, and I don't obviously have the numbers that like those old videos were getting, they were, I think, doing well. She was getting like genuine, some of the responses were genuine, like, you should look up your tenant board. You should look up this. Like, people were giving her advice.
Yeah.
It wasn't like universally like slamming her at that point. But then this video, I think,
well, she got the attention she wanted.
Turns the tide a little bit. So we're just going to watch, I think it's 2.5 minutes, and I think we're going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. And I think this is the one where
this is where it would start making its way into all of the feeds,
and then I said, like, no, thanks.
Well, in this one, I will say, because you talked about her beat in the first one, she's barefaced.
I saw that. She looked like she was
wet
crying.
Hair, kind of giving like, I'm exhausted. I've been depleted by the situation. So, okay. This says horrible roommate / landlord situation updates. Okay. Do we need to turn that thing up? There we go.
I'm on the brink of losing my housing, and I don't know what to do anymore. Over a month ago, my roommate informed me she didn't want to re-sign with me for very stupid reasons. I've made videos about it. She said that I could stay instead and that she would leave. And then like 2 weeks go by and she changes her mind, and I had to find out from the landlord that she was leaving again. And I was given 24 hours to find a new roommate. We're bringing a personal guarantor, and I wound up finding someone, which was really great. I warned her up front that leave if this is too much. The drama has been stupid. She did wind up backing out, and I reassured her. I was like, there are no hard feelings. I don't wish this stress on anyone. I'm now facing this final week by myself. I don't know what I'm going to do. I may try to ask the landlord to just let me pay the entire month of July's rent to buy me time to find someone. Can try to rush and find a new roommate. I don't know, dude. This has been agonizing. I've moved so many times last year of living in New York. I'm on my 5th sublet now. And I know the life that I signed up for by being a full-time artist in New York City. Mom Donnie gave a speech after the Knicks won. And I don't have like all of the words memorized, but he was like, what is New York if not your back is up against the wall, your dream just out of reach, unsure how you'll make your next rent payment, and looking at those 99.6% odds that are against you and smiling because in that 0.4%, New Yorkers find a way. You know, it's interesting when my new roommate backed out. I feel like 2 weeks ago, me would have like broken down in tears, but I think I was expecting it. I wasn't going to be surprised, but also I've just been surrendering. I can't carry it anymore. This is too much for me. I don't have control of this. I don't have control over the landlords being really fucking shitty or raising the rent without telling me until like Friday. I have no safety net. I don't have family that I can rely on financially. I'm not saying that to garner sympathy either. I'm stating the facts of where I'm at and that my back is literally up against a wall right now. But one thing that I know for sure is I love New York and I belong here and I'm not going anywhere. I want this to be a win for all of us because now I know so many of you are invested in this and I want so badly to...
All right, so we're going to stop it there. So this has 5.4 million views as of today. This is the most highly viewed one by a lot. Some of them have 1 million views, but that is the one that I think brings everything to larger attention. And that's where we start getting a bunch of discourse. So it's subletter discourse. A lot of what we've been talking about that people are noticing from the story of being like, well, this is how shit kind of works sometimes. And like kind of pulling apart certain aspects of like, okay, the landlord didn't not tell you that the rent was going to increase. This is like
you
stuff
weren't informed. It's also like, she's like, it's agonizing drama. I wouldn't wish on anyone. And I'm like, babe, this is what everyone goes through. This is literally, that's the thing that really bothers me about her is that I'm not going to say that this is an easy situation or like boo fucking who.
Yeah.
But it's more of the like the attitude that she's the only one who's ever had to deal with anything like this. And that like is just so fucking short-sighted. It doesn't make you look like a human. Also, you have so much privilege. Also, full-time artist in New York City when you just moved here 2 months ago.
I think that you're hitting on, a lot of the places that the discourse goes, which is like, number one, I mean, we get into transplant discourse, which is always going to get completely popped off because she's only been here a year and what do you think? And you're a full-time artist and you should get a job and all of that.
Yeah.
So that's happening. Then there's like all the stuff we've been talking about, how a sublet works, what you should expect as a subletter moving into somebody's place, how leases work in New York, like, etc. But then also, and I think you've spoken to this too, people who are New Yorkers who have been there are like, it does really suck when you are in that phase of like
figuring it out
and you're moving into places and you're not sure if they're going to work out and you're not sure if you're going to end up moving out in like 4 months because it wasn't a good vibe and like it's always and like
you're housing insecure. Like that is real. Whether she's a transplant or not, she's dealing with housing insecurity.
Yeah.
Whether it's, put upon or not, but like she's kind of learning. Yeah, exactly. Like it is extremely stressful for that in general, but.
And a lot of this stuff, like, it does suck that in order to rent an apartment in New York, you have to prove that you have 80 times the rent available to you. And if not, you have to have a guarantor. And that's something like, I have a guarantor in my apartment, but that's a privilege that's allowed to me. A lot of people can't fucking do that.
Yeah.
She says she can't do that. I believe that. Like, a lot of people can't do that. And like, and then so you got to prove that. You have to have pay stubs to prove it. Yeah. So it's always hard if you are paid under the table or if you make ceramic cats or whatever. Like it's hard to prove. It's designed in a very difficult way. And like that is true. And that does fucking suck about trying to move in New York. But anyway.
But that's why you pay, you rent a room in a lease that you're not on. And you see where they put the dishes and you put the dishes there.
Yeah.
And you act like a fucking mouse.
And you keep...
Until that girl moves out and then you can run the show.
Yeah.
And then you can buy the dish rack.
Or until you develop an intimacy with her because you guys actually live together now.
Yeah, now you lived here together for 6 months, a year. You're like, can I have this? You helped her out.
Yeah.
You know her mom, you know, you made her mom breakfast one day.
You watered her plants while she was out of town.
Yeah, you watched your cat.
Yeah.
And then you guys can actually, but like not in, 2 months.
Yeah.
Girl, who the fuck are you?
Moving in 2 months and this girl's been here for years.
It took years for me to live in, like, how long does it take? And then New York is an especially hard city, but it's like, it takes just like 5 years to, or like, I don't want to say 5 years. Some people figure it out, but like, it takes a while to figure out how this shit moves. And like,
yeah,
it took me 10 years, to like figure it out.
It's tough. I mean, so that's the thing is like, there are people who are like, compassionate to the degree of like, it is hard. Yeah. Your first year in New York, figuring out where to live, who's going to live with you, figuring out the right situation, trying to make money, getting on your feet. It is actually difficult. Like, we'll give you that. So these are all the discourses that are happening. They're seeding everywhere. And then on June 24th, 3 days later, the roommate, Marlon, enters the chat.
Okay.
And Marlon has 74,000 followers.
Okay.
Yes.
So EK now has 70 and Marlon has 74. So
I don't know.
Eyes on that.
I don't know what EK, I think, has been using TikTok probably previously to like do her art stuff and like try to sell stuff. She does say in some of the other parts, she like categorizes the roommate as trying to be an influencer. So I don't know if Marlon had like more followers before, but then has gained. Yeah. Like, I just don't know. But she's at 74,000 now.
We don't know the original follower count, but she's at 74,000.
She's at 74,000 now. We are now going to watch her response.
I'm dying to know what Marlon says. Marlon, enter the chat.
Marlon, she's entered the
A sublet I met about a month ago made a 30-part TikTok series about me, and I want to address a few things. We're going to keep it short and straight to the point because 30? I genuinely don't know how any of this is my fault. You started subleasing a few weeks ago. A sublease is temporary by definition, meaning I don't owe you shit. You are not entitled just because you moved in. I feel like I gave you plenty of notice and time to make arrangements so that when you re-sign the lease, you won't be stressed out. You even admitted that you found someone within a day. The real issue is that the rent increased and now you need to qualify for the lease yourself. And that is not my problem. That's just how New York renting goes. I feel like that's how renting goes in any state. You have moved 5 times within a year. At this point, babe, there's a common denominator, and it's definitely not the people that you're subleasing from. I feel like at this point it's you. Throughout all your videos, there was a consistency of you talking about me, about my situation, my bills, my pay stubs, my proof of income, when in reality, I have a job. I pay my bills on time. I even secured my new apartment. I think you're projecting what you're lacking onto me. I feel like what's genuinely crazy is I never wished anything bad upon you. I really do hope you get approved for this apartment with your new roommate. What sucks is that you made 30 videos about me consecutively, wishing bad upon me, saying I'm getting karma, calling me names, calling me out of my name. I don't even know you, babe, and you don't even know me. I just met you a month ago. Hello? I just feel like I'm getting dragged for choosing what's best for me in my future. She also started a GoFundMe. I'm going to insert the GoFundMe right here so you can read it briefly. You didn't start a GoFundMe because you lost your job, you have medical expenses to take care of, or have hard times at this moment. You started a GoFundMe because you don't have the funds for the apartment, and instead of being honest about that, you're blaming me. People have asked you multiple times, why don't you get an actual job? And your response is always, I'm an artist. There is plenty of artists in New York City that still have regular jobs because they know rent needs to be paid at the end of the day. And instead of finding a job, you decide to basically scream, call me out of my name, say that I am a nightmare roommate, blaming me for not wanting to re-sign the lease with you, which is crazy. I feel like if you started a GoFundMe that said, I can't afford rent right now, that's one thing. But because you switched the narrative and basically stated you are trapped in a traumatized, abusive situation with your roommate because I'm choosing to leave is completely different. I feel like at some point you have to stop blaming other people for your circumstances that you are responsible for as a grown adult. And babe, you are 30 years old. You are a grown woman. Even I, in my 20s, understand the concept of how renting, how deposits, how moving, how all of that goes. If I can understand that and I take responsibility because I know the world doesn't owe me anything, I feel like you can do that as well. You're not getting evicted, you got the lease, and I'm moving out at the end of this month. And that's it. A sublet I met.
So, Millie.
I feel like this is this girl's worst nightmare.
So I think one thing that we should say straight out is that Marilyn is a beautiful Latina woman.
I'm like, Marilyn is a beautiful, intense, confident Latina woman with huge knockers. And she's just like, I'm sorry, she frame mugged. She fucking mugged. She out-mugged fucking EK, which already first blink, I'm like, and
she's also like, yeah, mid-20s and like, I think actually an influencer to some degree because she comes out looking amazing.
But not too for it. Like
her editing on the videos is
she's
like
funnier.
Yeah, she's like cutting in and like playing the little sound effects and all of this stuff.
She's got it. Marilyn, come on the pod. Marilyn, come on the pod.
It's when you're watching it, you're like, oh my God. And also the entire time I'm watching it, I'm like, yeah, of course EK and this girl didn't get along.
Yeah.
Like, oh my, these are two. She's like a baddie.
She's a baddie and also like
perfect nails, rings, extremely hot.
Yeah. And also like, yeah, like I'm sure she wants shit done the way she wants. Like, you gotta fall in line, EK. But also, I'm just like, yeah, there is something dystopian about, like, really 1984, like, about two women in rooms, like, kind of divided by plywood.
Yeah.
Talking to millions, but not
to each
other in the same house. Yes. Like, that's a dystopian thing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's very Black Mirror.
It's very Black Mirror where it's like, whatever. But also, like, Marilyn just did that, right? Like, middle line where she's really going for the jugular with this girl and saying a lot of, like, mean stuff. And I'm just thinking, like, it's this girl's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Of, like, you know, someone hotter than you, who's making fun of you, who's telling you whatever, and like you can't really come back from, you know?
Also, in terms of like I don't know where Marilyn is from, if she's like a native New Yorker or not, but in terms of like when people are getting into transplant discourse, the difference between Marilyn and EK is really huge. I do think she's like harsh and like you said, going for the jugular in the video.
But she's not saying bitch or ugly or you're gross or you left your panties. She's like, you're
broke, basically.
Yeah, you're a broke
You should get a job. You're too old for this and you should get a job, which, you know, there's an argument for that. And also, she's only doing this after, again, EK made 30 videos about her while they're still living in the apartment. And one of them is going really viral. So now, like, she kind of has to respond. And at this point, she's pissed, probably. And it does seem like, number one, she is moving out of the apartment.
Yeah.
So leave this girl. Stop making videos once she's moving out of the apartment, stop making videos about her. She moved out of her apartment and gave it to you and said, per text that were in your thing, like, this is so because of what you've been through and all of that stuff. So why are you still making videos about her?
Immediately when she clocked that you were a little cuckoo, she's like, you can just have it.
Yeah,
like, I really don't
give my friend.
And then probably when she talked to her friends, they're like, you're on the lease. You shouldn't like have to move shit. Who the fuck is this girl? And then she told the man and then whatever. And then she's like, you know what? It's easier if I just fucking whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I'm also like, what happens when you make a 30-part thing is that you're already crazy.
Yeah.
So like, and then, people are making her argument for her in the comments, Marilyn.
Yes.
So it's like, not to say that like she didn't think of this herself, but like she's able to articulate it and really prepare because you're so reckless.
Yeah, and it's like, she seems pissed. She's not being nice in the video, whatever. But when you remember that it comes after this girl made 30 videos about her and she is moving, she left. And I do think that it's like she was going viral about all this stuff. And I think eventually what happened was all of this stuff happened. There was some back and forth. It was decided that Marilyn was going to move. And then EK started having difficulty with the landlord. But at that point, EK should have stopped saying anything about the roommate.
Yeah.
I mean, like, me and my roommate resolved it and she's moving out.
Yeah.
Now I need to figure out this stuff with the landlord. And that, honestly, is a more interesting situation, relatable if it's like, hey, this is what it takes to get an apartment in New York. Like, okay, I solved this roommate situation, but now I have to actually get approved for the apartment. Like, there's a way to do it, but okay. So the response starts to go viral.
Time to know what
Response gets...
Oh, Marilyn's response.
The response goes viral. Now, discourse, crazy. People are making recap videos. So people are doing like, I watched the 15-part, like, da-da-da, so you don't have to. I watched the 30-part, do-do-do, so you don't have to. Like, all of the whatever. All of that is happening. EK is nicknamed Fire Escape Girl, which is not good. The discourse that was already happening completely heightens on every single level. So where are we at as of July 5th, the day we are recording this? EK has posted 2 updates since the last video that we watched, the one that went super viral. One was all on the same day that Marilyn posted her video, but it wasn't in reference to it, so I think it just happened to be the same day.
Okay.
EK's just posting so much that she also,
video.
like, yeah. And that one's just like, I still don't have my roommate situation. A lot of the videos are just her recapping everything. Then on June 29th, she posts what she says is going to be her final update and has thus far been her final update. This is the last post we get from EK. She comes back out to the fire escape. She rehashes all of the information again. Then she says that she pays her bills. She has the money to live there. She just can't take over an entire lease, which is like totally, but also this is what
you wanted.
Yeah, this is what happens when you have to, like, you wanted to take over this lease. So now you have to come up with the roommate can't give the lease to you. The roommate can agree to move out, but it's actually the landlord that has to agree to put you on this lease.
I hate when people get what they want and complain about it.
Yeah. Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Is kind of a large example of that, and we'll talk about that more on the repeat. But
yeah, because I can't even think which instance you're saying.
It's just a lifelong theme.
Okay,
it's a theme throughout since 1989. A theme. She does say that none of this would have happened if she hadn't come to social media in the first place. I've learned my lesson. I will not do that again.
Great.
She says she acknowledges the GoFundMe as being tone deaf, and she says that once you know
what? I love this character arc for her.
I know.
Sorry, continue.
She says once she's settled, she's going to get more involved in her community and start helping unhoused people and
Someone
people with
told
mental
her to
health
go
issues.
touch grass.
Yes, and then she also says in the video. She says in the video that she finally has stable housing. She characterizes herself as like she finally has stable housing. So I think she was able to get on this lease with the GoFundMe and whatever. She did something, but it seems like
maybe
she's
she
going
moved to another new room.
It seems like she's staying in the apartment and got a roommate and like has figured out that situation. So it seems like in the end, it all came together
And
fine.
her heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Okay, these are the comments on her most recent video, and I do want you to read them. I think you should read all of them just because there's some funny themes throughout.
Okay.
I think you'll laugh at who makes an appearance in the comments.
Too much time on TikTok, not enough time on LinkedIn. You and Tyler Catastrophe would be an unstoppable duo. That's why I said, when are these things getting shipped?
Mm-hmm.
Yet you still kept the videos online. Well, she has to for archival reasons. Div says, you literally put your roommate on blast. That could have been dangerous. The right thing to do is to apologize to her. All right. At Gabriella Gotzinger says, you know what? Fuck it. Welcome back, Tyler Catastrophe. And yeah, like, that's like a meme where it's like, close enough.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever.
Welcome back, so-and-so, yeah.
And then someone says, at the Lux London says, so no apology for your roommate? And then, I don't know how Gen Z gets the squiggly lines on their,
I don't know.
like these things, like when they do that. Anyway.
Well,
Squiggly line Drew says, me, and more me.
Wow.
I just love where it's like, it's like, hey guys, I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to homeless people and not go online anymore.
Yeah. I mean, she still kind of has the same tone in the other videos, which is a little like, whatever. But that is basically what she says in the last video. And she's like, I'm going to give back to the community. Now, Marilyn has also posted twice since her first video addressing the situation. One is just titled apartment hunting. I said yes. She doesn't mention EK at all. She introduces her equally cute, hot black friend who she's going to move in with.
Of course.
They're two, it seems like, maybe marketing girlies who make money. She shows the apartment. She doesn't say shit about...
And I bet you the apartment's pristine.
The apartment's adorable. They're adorable. She doesn't say shit about EK. Nothing. But, it's lingering in the air because we all know why she's looking for an apartment and everyone knows.
Yeah.
So it's very smart, I think, of her. Then the next one is called Pack With Me. And it's about her moving out. And in this one, she does mention EK where she's like, my move was supposed to happen this day, but now it's happening this day. And yes, my roommate does know. And she shows a text of her basically telling EK, like, don't be in the apartment when I'm moving out.
And I'm just like,
yeah.
It's even bold of EK. Again, not to be like, oh, if you're Latina, you're going to immediately beat someone's ass. But if I was living with Marilyn, Marlon, I would not be trying to cross this woman. I'm like, it's even bold for EK to try to do this. Like, you really think shit's not going to come back
when
to
I
people?
When I saw her, like, mid-back length, perfectly curled, jet black hair, the beat, the rings, her full sleeve, I was like...
she has tattoos in between the titties.
I was like,
she's doing something where she has...
I'm going to let her have the drying rack she wants to have when I move in. I think I'm just going to let her do her thing. She wants the top shelf of the fridge, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not trying to tango with her. Immediately trying to move in. 2 months in. I personally wouldn't fuck with Marlon.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, and I'm a grown woman. And, I feel like I can defend myself, and I wouldn't want to cross Marlon. A little skinny white girl who moved here 2 weeks ago is trying to cross Marlon. I can't believe that even without online stuff, this happens. But now that we have the online thing component too, like, it's the equivalent of a puppy that's getting too close to a pit bull, and then the pit bull has to just snap once.
It's such a perfect microcosm of New York roommate situations and drama and like the types of people that end up clashing and living together and whatever. Because EK is an artist who makes ceramic cats and she just moved here and she's very like alt, Bushwick, whatever. She just got here. She doesn't know shit, trying to figure it out. I have like grace for that. And also I think that, she should have been more chill in her roommate situation, and she might not have 5 different sublets in a year. Like,
and that's what Marilyn.
That is
Marlon said.
Though, like, why 5 is a lot.
5 is a lot.
3 I've seen. I've been there
in
before.
A year.
In a year, like
whatever.
It happens. Like sometimes that sucks. But when we're getting to 5, it's like, doesn't anyone want to re-sign with you? Because if we met someone when we were subletting this room in our one in that place I lived with Ian, there was this one room that like it was really small and didn't have a window. So basically anyone who wanted to stay in that room was a psycho, and like we couldn't keep them for long because you can't, they're gonna piss in your chair and like do whatever. And then anyone who was cool didn't want to stay because they are not a psycho, and they're like, I actually have to get out of this room. It's way too small and there's no window. And it's like, for sure, absolutely. So, like, I've seen these things, how these things go on and go down. And, like, yeah, it's just a perfect microcosm of.
And then you have the baddie who like probably works really hard.
Yeah.
And got her shit together. Like, and it's not, again, it's just like.
And just comes from, it seems like a harder cultural background, just like, whatever. It seems like maybe she has immigrant parents. She makes a joke about being a no sabo in another video.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't know what her background is, but either way, it's like, it is a white girl transplant versus like
a
Latina like daughter of immigrants. It seems, girl, I don't know if she's a native New Yorker. That I do not know.
Yeah, but I'm just like, even being a no sabo kid, the amount of like bullshit and shame you have to deal with.
I start
like,
weeping.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is probably EK can't even probably handle the being a no sabo kid.
No, EK could never shoulder the burden of being a no sabo kid.
I have my own. If EK can't even handle being an no sabo, we can't even get into the nuances of Afro-Latino stuff.
No, we
here.
can't. We can't.
So
and for anyone listening, no sabo is like it's like a derogatory, but also like, I don't know. It's kind of
it's like a term that people use for Latino
who don't speak Spanish, basically.
So it's like kind of like second generation like Hispanic Americans who don't speak Spanish.
Because it's a way of saying I don't know, but that's wrong.
That's
also.
wrong. So it's like yo no sabo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen,
anyway.
I get you would be fucking surprised again, like I don't speak perfect Spanish at all, but I'm fucking trying and whatever. And I do these shows in Spanish, and sometimes people to be like, it's cool that you're a no sabo. Or like one time this girl said that to me, Cuban, sorry, Cuban, because her boyfriend was talking to me.
I'm just taking hit after hit this weekend.
Hit after hit after hit after hit. Cuban, no. Her boyfriend came up to me and is asking me all these questions about comedy, like kind of flirting with me, and I'm like, whatever. And then this girl comes up to me, she was like, your set was cute, like, kind of like, it's funny because you're like a no sabo. And I'm just like, bitch, I just did 20 minutes in fucking Spanish. I didn't just do 20 minutes in Spanish. I fucking killed it.
Yeah.
You fucking bitch. But like.
Do you know how hard it is to be funny in another like.
And that's what, even when I tell my students with, there's a girl who's from Thailand in one of my classes. And she is like making jokes. And then I'm just like, guys, like. There's
That's fucking hard.
It's fucking
That's
hard.
really hard.
Anyway, back to EK. I mean, oof. That's rough.
Yeah.
And then, like being an artist, it's fucking hard. I don't know, at least like you are someone who is super successful, who's done a lot of fucking cool shit. Have you ever considered yours, and you've been in here for 15 years.
15 years.
Have you ever considered yourself a full-time artist?
No. There have been brief periods of maybe 1 or 2 weeks at a time where I'm a full-time artist. It's just
And I'm saying that because I've never.
No,
like,
exactly. It's
the
really
same.
hard.
Like, you have to always have 8 jobs.
It is really hard. It sucks. I wish it wasn't like that. And it is like, again, EK's in her first year in New York. So it's like, there is part of me that's like, oh, we're just watching her learn all these things in real time. But also she brought it to the internet.
Yeah.
Like there is a value to going through these things privately, letting it settle, and then deciding like, do I want to do a story time that's like story time about how I almost lost my housing, but I just whatever.
Maybe it would have been a story time how I was in the wrong or how I was tripping.
Yeah, or maybe it would have been like, I actually don't want to make that. But when you're doing it in real time, number one, it's like, it's hard for me to assess how bad I should or shouldn't feel about you because you're putting your roommate situation in even worse jeopardy. If you're going back and forth with this girl about like who's going to move out and who this and that, why is she going to be more inclined to help you if you're making $29 videos about her. And it seems like she did help you. So I'm like, why are the videos continue? Why did it get to 30 videos? How are we at 30 videos? And also, like, did she block the roommate? Like, that I do also want to know is, like, what couldn't you have prevented? Like, she can see these.
People get so, like, it's just like, I'm like, it's just like clavicular. But it's just like, people want the hype and people want all the eyes and all the attention, but don't think about the bad stuff that comes with that. And it's like, and even I was doing, I did the Judgy series, like, whatever, which I think you've done. And it's like, I told a roommate story and I'm like, oh, I hope my roommate doesn't see it. And then the girl turns to me, she's like, she's going to see it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to assume that's how you have to be moving these days. Yeah. Is that everybody you're talking about has to see it, and like you have to proceed with caution and accordingly.
Because also, if the point of posting these videos is to go viral, then the idea is like it's gonna get to her because it's gonna go viral. I heard about your roommate drama, and I don't know you.
Yeah.
TikTok knows that she has your number in her phone and can serve her the video because it knows that she knows you. Like,
or her friend will see it. Or her coworker will see it, or the landlord will see it. We live in a surveillance state.
Exactly. Like, you can't. That's just the thing with EK, where I'm like, I have a lot of compassion for how much it sucks to be moving in New York, for being an artist, for trying to make your money, for trying to do your thing, for trying to get better yourself and come here and like do the damn thing and all of that. But it's like, yeah, living here is hard. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
There are things that you have to just kind of like accept and take on. And also, you can't be making 30 videos about people who you're actually in negotiations with about a serious thing about your housing. You're telling me you're housing insecure. You are.
Yeah.
But you're kind of jeopardizing all of it by doing a weird TikTok thing when you need to be, like they said, on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
When you got to be on LinkedIn.
Well,
so that's that.
Yeah. I was telling my niece, like, New York is beautiful and it's great and it's awesome and walkable. And then about like maybe once a week to once a month, you will walk past a dead pigeon or a dead rat that like shakes up the course of your day.
Yeah.
And then like it's just like a rat sliced in half, completely flat, all kinds of stuff.
There was a horrible dead pigeon on my neighbor's, like right on their front doorstep. And it's like an apartment where like it's actually their front door, and I'm like, and like it was horrible, and it was like splayed out, and something had been like eating it. It looked so bad, and I was like, oh my God, they're gonna open the door to this pigeon, and I can't do anything about it because I'm not touching it.
Yeah, that's disgusting. But exactly, yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, I feel for that, but you gotta like, I think it's so funny. You're like, I'm going to step more in my community, but it's just like, yeah, it's really hard, but you're not the only one. And if you like spent your time like talking to people that you see every day or in the coffee shop or whatever, you can get a sense of like, everyone's like, hey, this is annoying, but this is kind of like how it is.
Yeah. And you might meet a coworker who needs a roommate, and that's a more stable situation because you guys know each other a little bit. You know, like moving in cold with someone who you just met a month ago, that's a situation that you kind of do in your mind have to, even if you are the subletting person, have reservations about and be like, am I going to want to resign? Who is this person? Like, EK was also well within her rights to be like, hey, I'm actually not resigning in July because I don't think it's a fit.
Yeah, I don't want someone who like, I can't put my shit on the top rack.
Yeah.
Or this.
Yeah,
like,
I want to be living.
She like the apartment.
Yeah. Like, I mean, EK could be like, I want to start a home with a roommate. We both are moving in clean. Like, it seems like that's the situation she really like wanted and needed. And then what she was doing was subletting but like coming into other people's homes. And it seems like, I mean, perfect phrasing, but like coming into the group chat way too hot.
Yeah.
and inserting herself in like a too intense way. And I think people were not re-signing with her. Like Marilyn immediately was like, thanks for letting me know this isn't working and you're going to be moving out in a month.
And then it's EK was like, how's it not working? Blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, you just bitched me out. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
like, what do you but again, like I say, for 3 months, for 2 months, for them to already have 3 different fights to have listed between the two of them, like points of contention between May and June, that to me is like that's too much.
Some people like fighting and bickering, and that's the other thing with, a situation that I had to leave where I'm like, I actually don't I can't have that at home. But some people are used to that. Some people don't care. Some people mind, like, want to have a little. I don't. I actually need to refresh. My home needs to be my little cocoon.
And I need to be able to like unmask and like be a little bit messy and like whatever and not have someone like being like, why is your purse here or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, anyway, I think
BK, I think it's a grass hole situation. Like, I think that she needed to log off. I hope that she does.
She did.
It seems that she has logged off. I wish her the best with the ceramic cats and all of that stuff. It seems like she found, and like, I'm like, she's not evil, but I'm like, you were in the wrong. I think that she was. I come down on the side of Marilyn, and it's not just because she's a major Latina.
Baddie.
She's not just because she's a Latina baddie.
It's not because she's figured out a lip combination that's shaken me to my core,
exactly.
and that I will replicate at one point. It's because she wasn't, she kept it classy. She didn't like whatever, but also don't fucking talk about me.
Yeah, she was like, you keep calling me out of my name, saying stuff about my bills. I didn't like. That was in the other parts that she's like, her name isn't on these bills and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you can't talk about other people's financial situations on the internet and like make claims about it when it's like, number one, you're the one, she got this lease. She's here.
You know what? And EK, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just like, again, I'm so surprised by the boldness of EK because we covered somebody who talked shit about her roommate and got her ass beat on TikTok live. And we had her snark people coming to us being like, she deserved, like, I don't know. I'm like, this could have gotten way worse for EK. So,
yeah, she's she's lucky that Marilyn is like, it also classy, it seems. Because I think it was very smart of her to, because it does seem that she's trying to be an influencer. So it's like, okay, well, my roommate's going viral talking about me.
Well,
I have to address that, number one, probably because people who know the two of them are seeing it. They're obviously connected socially in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. And number two, I'm trying to be an influencer. This is going viral. I'm obviously going to say something. And then for the next 2 videos to be like about the move, but not about the roommate situation, I think is like, mwah.
That's someone who
perfectly
knows what the
done.
Fuck she's doing. Do not fuck.
Perfectly done.
That's the other thing is like, you think you're the only one with the phone?
Yeah. A level of restraint that maybe certain people whose weddings were this weekend would do well to learn about.
I feel, guys, like, just hold the lease in your heart.
Thank you.
She's really going
Every
through
new thing that I've seen has been really, this has been taking me time to process, and I will process. Tomorrow on Mike, we're going to have a great episode. We have a great guest. It's going to be really fun. And until next time, go touch grass.
Go Touch Grass is created and hosted by Elise Morales and Millie Tamares.
And our theme song is by Doug Wydick.
Looking for great deals on the products you already love? The latest Waves of Abundance sale is happening now at Azure Standard. Discover special savings on organic groceries, pantry favorites, household essentials, gardening products, wellness items, and more. New offers are featured across the site, making it a great time to stock up and save. Azure Standard is the place to go for everything you need, all in one place. Shop the latest Waves of Abundance sale today at azurestandard.com. That's AZURE standard.com.